literally is wall-to-wall hedgehog, isn't it?
It literally is wall-to-wall
cages
hedgehog.
everywhere. It's incredible.
We put all our new admissions in this area here.
Right.
And then we also put all the hedgehogs that are on medication together as well. So you've got walking around,
Okay.
all of these are on medication
Right.
up to here. And within these you'll have hedgehogs ranging from 171 grams, and you can even get some of the bigger ones that come in that are injured, for example.
Yeah.
And they may weigh 650 grams. And then going around, these are our stable hedgehogs. And then you move out into the other main room where you've also got stable hedgehogs. And you'll notice that they've got different labels on them, different stages.
Yes.
And that's menu stages. We've got a menu ranging from 1 to 5.
Right.
5 being the heavy ones, so they're over 500 grams.
Right.
That one's upset. He doesn't like doesn't like being
He
handled.
was asleep, so...
Why is that one in here? Is that injured or?
That one came in with worms,
Right.
intestinal worms, and he's had his treatment, but he's now up to stage 5. But some of them, and I always feel reassured when they're like this because they're wild animals, and we wouldn't want them to become imprinted on humans. So it's quite nice when you put up a little bit of a pad. We've got some on heat pads. We put them into bedding like this because we can monitor it better. And as you can see with this little one, I mean this little one came in at 296 grams. Now bearing in mind they should be 650 to hibernate, that gives an indicator of how small they are when they're coming in.
Yeah. Actually, the numbers in England are what, less than 1 million now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And yet in the 1950s there were 30 million.
Absolutely.
So what's happening?
Yeah. I think there's a number of reasons, to be honest, why the decline is happening at the rate it is. And to be honest, it is down to humans as being the main cause.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, going back from the 1950s to now, there's far more traffic on the roads now. There's far more new builds going up. So, you know, obviously their own sort of natural habitat is being destroyed. Farming in this country has changed over the years, so the hedgerows aren't where they used to be. And I think also that people now, they like their gardens to be very tidy and they like to put up high fences.
Yeah. So
So they don't necessarily think about allowing the space for a hedgehog to forage from garden to garden.
Right.
And I think also there's an increase in pesticides being used.
Yes.
So there's a lot of reasons. When you put it all together, that's really why these little ones are really struggling out there. And then what we've got out here is the bigger ones. So these are the ones that would be ready to go back out into the wild to hibernate. We're just waiting for a weather window so that we can send them out when it's a little bit milder, and then hopefully that one will go off and hibernate. You know, I'm hoping that there's going to be one in the next fortnight. If not, my fear is they'll be in all winter, and my fear being that I think they're better off hibernating in a natural environment rather than being in here all winter having to be kept awake.
Obviously don't mind cleaning now anyway, it's a good cause, isn't it?
We've got fantastic volunteers, I have to say. I mean, you know, everyone comes in and knows what to do and they get on with the job, you know, in hand, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Well, without them it wouldn't function, would it?
Not at all, not at all.
What's the smallest hedgehog you have in here at the moment?
In here at the moment it's 171 grams,
Right.
it's the smallest one.
Right.
I mean, you know, obviously in the summer we're taking them in at, they can be 19 grams.
19?
19 grams, yeah. We hand rear them. We were hand rearing 99 hoglets in the summer. Feeding them every 3 to 4 hours. So yeah, there's quite a lot of observation goes on with the animals whilst they're at Prickles care.
The work is just on the way, isn't it? Just constantly cleaning and
It's constant, because you've got the care aspect, which is constant, but then equally you've got all the fundraising side as well of the charity, and Carol over here does the rotas, so the rota's a full-time job, because, you know, trying to coordinate everyone to be where you want them to be at a certain time.
What sort of things do you do to raise funds then? Sort of...
We run our own local fundraising events, so we'll run things like quizzes. We have local bands, like groups of musicians, they'll come in and run things for us. We have shows that we go to as well, just to publicise the work of Prickles. So kind of, it's a variety of things. reasons really, that we do just to try and get some funds in, just to keep it running. What we do with the litter mates when they come in, we put litters together, and then when they reach about 250 grams, we separate them out into individual cages then. Yeah, because they're solitary animals. They're solitary animals in the wild, so they don't really like the company of each other. No. And as they get older as well and bigger, they prefer their own space, so they're all separated.
And it's easier to monitor the weight as well, because you don't know which has eaten the food.
True, that's true.
We've got a litter actually next door that I'll show you. We've just separated, there's a litter of 5, and they came in with mum, but we've just separated them out. So they're litter mates, along with the 3 over here as well. But they were tiny. I mean, they came in, they were between 68 grams and 80 grams when they came in.
Grams.
Yeah, they came in with mum.
Week and a half?
Yeah.
So obviously found wandering around during the day.
The nest was disturbed.
Yeah.
That's what happened. People were gardening, clearing leaves, because, you know, the autumn, having an autumn clearer. And the nest got disturbed. And what we know about hedgehogs, which is different to other wildlife, is if the mums are disturbed and they've got hoglets, they usually run off and they won't come back to them. So what we try and do is catch mum and then bring all the babies in together and then let mum rear them in here, and then we release mum when these are weaned, which is what we did in this case.
What's the survival rate?
It's difficult to say in the wild because there's no way of actually monitoring it, but what they say is generally out of a litter 1 will die, and it's normally the weaker one. Whereas in here, I mean, out of the 99 hoglets that we had in, we lost 1, and we were hand rearing the 99.
Perhaps we could just emphasise very last what people can do to help hedgehogs in their gardens.
Okay, I think one of the things that we know about hedgehogs is they need secure places to sleep. And what I mean by secure places to sleep is they like to nest under sheds, they like to nest in compost heaps, but they also like wild gardens, overgrown gardens that are not tidy. But also people offering food and water, support feeding every night, goes a long, long way to keep the hedgehogs that are in the wild healthy.
Yeah.
And we've seen this time and time again at Prickles by members of the public phoning in that have found hedgehogs, and we've returned back to them by feeding them every night. They don't need to be off foraging miles and miles and miles because they've almost got a ready meal available to them.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind, you know, the high metabolic rate and how much they actually need to survive on a day-to-day basis, then that obviously makes sure that they're kept healthy and you know, their health isn't compromised at all, which is brilliant.
Because they do need gardens, don't they?
They certainly need gardeners, and they also need gaps under fences in order to move from garden to garden as well. So, you know, creating a hole under a fence the size of a CD box case is, you know, will go a long, long way to ensure that they're able to move around and do what hedgehogs do.
It's the wildlife corridor, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Garden to garden,
yeah,
garden,
definitely. And they'll travel over a mile a night, so it's a huge, you know, distance.
It's a long way for little legs, isn't it?
A very long way, but they've tracked them previously and followed them around in the wild, and what they do is a circular route. And I think if people, you know, were able to support food, they literally just go from saucer of food to saucer of food, you know, which obviously for these little ones would be tremendous.
Well, we can't afford to lose hedgehogs, so
definitely not.
we must keep them.
And at Prickles we're doing absolutely everything we can, you know, in order to keep the species well and truly alive.
Yeah.
You know, and strong out in the wild.
Yeah, well, Jules Bishop, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it.
Thank you
very much indeed.
Thanks.